What up, y'all? Week 7 of the college football season is in the books. Yes, there's a couple games still going on, but for all intents and purposes, Week 7 in the books, and not that many interesting games today, which does not bother me one bit because it means that I get to spend most of this talking about one game, which was the Washington Huskies taking care of the Oregon Ducks today, 36-33, in one of the great college football games that has happened in the last few years. This was two really good teams that, regardless of who won this game, both teams came out of this game looking good. Both teams' defenses played well against offenses that are going to put up 50 on a lot of the teams that they play this year. It was hotly contested. Both teams made big-time plays, and there was definitely spots where it looked like this game was over and Oregon had this thing wrapped up. But so many big-time plays that I want to go through. But first, Michael Penix has got to be at the top of the Heisman conversation now, right? USC loses to Notre Dame tonight pretty soundly. Williams with 3 interceptions. And then you get the win. So Penix beats Bo Nix, right? That has to put him at the top of the conversation. Oklahoma was off this week, so you got Dylan Gabriel over there. You can talk about Jordan Travis at Florida State. They got a resounding win today. But Penix has to be at the top because he throws for 4 scores today, over 300 yards, through what looked like a gnarly – it looked to me like he broke a rib. They ended up after the end of the game, Coach DeBoer was saying all it was stomach cramps. He was cramping up really bad. I don't know. It looked to me because he took a hard shot, and that's when he was really struggling. Regardless, playing through the pain, making the big-time plays. Washington led early. Early touchdown passes. Seemed to have control because early on, the Washington defensive line was able to stunt Oregon's ground game to a certain extent. Oregon was moving the ball steadily, but they were able to make some stops. And then in the second half, Oregon had their way with the Washington defense, particularly on the ground. They were able to consistently run the ball on them. And then when it looked like they had them stopped on multiple plays, Bo Nix finds Troy Franklin. They make the big-time plays a couple times, including the play that almost looked like it iced the game. On the final possession, Washington gets down to the goal line, gets stopped. Second and goal from the 1-foot line. Third and goal from the 2. Fourth and goal again from the 1-foot line. Penix, because he's grabbing his core, like I said, I thought his rib was busted. They can't sneak. So what do? They run a wildcat on second down. They run the ball again on third down. They run the ball again on fourth down. Get stopped each time, and I'm thinking we're about to lose to Oregon with our Heisman quarterback handing the ball off or not even getting the ball on 3 straight plays from the goal line. Oregon gets the ball. Third down, we stop them. And somehow, Dan Lanning runs down the sideline, decides he's calling timeout, and gets the time. That play drove me crazy because it sure looked to me like that was blown late. Regardless, they get that first down, and then they throw that jump ball to Franklin that he practically fair catches. They get that first down, and it looks like the game's over at that point. The fact that the Huskies were still able to get the stop and Lanning went for it on fourth down. Folks, this is 2 years in a row. Okay, if you don't remember, and it was bugging me because the announcers didn't bring it up, so they didn't remember. Last year, Oregon went for it in their own territory on fourth down with 2 or 3 minutes to go. Didn't get it. Washington went down, kicked the field goal, won the game. 37-34. So it cost Oregon last year. Cost them in the Oregon State game last year as well. And then here they are, and they went for it on fourth multiple times and got it, and it gave them an advantage. And they got multiple 2-point conversions over the course of this game. But then when it came down to it at the end of the ball game, they go for it on fourth down at about midfield when they have the lead. And sure, if they had gotten that first down on 4th and 3 or whatever it was, that would have won them the football game. But they could have buried Washington with only one timeout deep in the back corner. They could have put them inside their 10 with a good punt, and Washington would have had to go the length of the field. Instead, Penix gets to take over from midfield, 2 plays. Finds Rome Odunze in the back corner on a go ball, which was not the first time they connected on a go ball today. Odunze, 8 catches, I think. 2 touchdowns. Could very well be the first receiver taken in April. Heck of a day. But they use different receivers. Westover, he catches the 2-point conversion. Right, Westover's like he's entered the team as like a fullback special teams guy. He wears number 37, and he's managed to carve out this niche as kind of a tight end H-back. And he made big time plays today too. He got the 2-point conversion, and when Washington went for it on 4th down earlier in the 4th quarter, Penix short arms it, and he makes an incredible scooping catch to get the 1st down. But big-time plays all over the place. Johnson had a great day running the football. Washington got away from the ground game in the second half. I think what happened was Oregon there was one play where both their cornerbacks got injured. And I think what happened is Washington started to try to take some shots at the corners, and they got away from a ground game that no one was giving them a lot of credit for and hadn't been that great this season. And they ran the ball pretty effectively in the first half. Got away from it, had 2 3-and-outs. That's how Oregon got the lead. Oregon played a really good football game, but the decisions to go for it on 4th down, and then Washington was able to make the plays. And a big story here is Oregon was supposed to have the superior defense, but it was Washington's O-line that for the most part won the day today against Oregon's defensive line. Penix was sacked once. He was hit a few times, but he was not under any sort of serious duress for most of the game, and that allowed him to pick apart the defense and to make the big-time throws late in the ball game. So that's the most I'll probably talk about any one specific game all season long, but it's so much fun to be a Husky fan after that win. Washington is 6-0 in the driver's seat. Suddenly, they're the only undefeated team in the Pac-12. Oregon has a loss. USC has a loss. Oregon State has a loss. Washington State has multiple losses. Now, where did this come from? Got blown out by Arizona today. Arizona's they're battling with Arkansas for the best below 500 team in the country right now. Oregon State beats UCLA today. So Oregon State has 1 loss, which was by 3 to Washington State. They look quite formidable. Utah beat Cal today, so Utah has 1 loss. So many 1-loss teams in the Pac-12 that are going to be in the top 25. Only 1 undefeated team, and that's your Washington Huskies. Other notes from today, USC gets blown out. We'll call it a blowout. I don't know if it's a blowout, but it was bad. To Notre Dame. Big win for Notre Dame, reasserting themselves after a couple of after the tough loss to Louisville. Louisville also loses today, so tough loss for Louisville. They were undefeated. That's their first loss. They get blown out, not blown out again, but they got beat by Pitt. Pitt is, I think, like a 2-4 team. Came into today and was behind at halftime, scored 21 unanswered in the second half. That's a tough loss for Louisville. Every other ranked team cruised today. Georgia had some trouble with Vanderbilt. They continue to be unimpressive for the most part. But they cruised to a win. Oregon State beat UCLA. Big time win for Oregon State. But for the most part, nothing too interesting happening in the top 10. It's really the last week we'll have something like that where everyone pretty much just cruised outside of USC losing to Notre Dame and that incredible Washington-Oregon football game. So that's what I've got. Again, appreciate the love, everybody. Justin Talk Sports on YouTube. Follow and subscribe. If you see me on the Instagram, go ahead and comment and talk away. Share it with your friends, whatever. But I appreciate the love, everybody. Go Dogs. Much love.